So this 5-day FTP titled Navigating the PPTs, Navigating the Process of Writing a Research Paper. So on this 5 days, I'll tell you what this FTP will be on. So it will be, first we will start up with what research is, how to identify a research problem, how to identify a research problem, how do you structure your paper, how do you start up with research, and how do you proceed with it. And there are various components that make research or research paper a real success. So this 5 days of FTP on navigating the process of writing a research paper, I'll be telling you as to how you have to proceed with research. Now, coming up to the topic, let's have an icebreaker first. What do you think is research? What is research, first of all? Now, wherever we go, even when you take up an interview for a job or interview for securing a PhD, the first question that they ask is, what is research? What are you going to do? So what is research basically? What do you think is research? And even now, like academicians, we have weightage only when we are researchers. So more than teachers, our own university, it sees us as researchers. They expect more of research to be done rather than what we teach the students who are there in the college or the university. Okay, that's the truth, that's the reality, because we have to get updated to the daily expectation of what the university expects. Yes. So what is research? As an individual, as a teacher, or as an academician, how do you see this research? Or what is research according to you? If you're not very happy about talking and muting and talking, you can type in your responses so that I can read it for you.
Hello, ma'am. Am I audible?
Yes, tell me.
So research is about when you're searching for something again, but from a new perspective. Like the topic could be something very much like contemporary or something we know for a long duration of time, but the way we are looking at it is something new.
Okay, good, very good. Okay, I am also getting response in the chat box. I'll read it. To find a solution to some problem by Ms. Pooja. Discovering new knowledge or using existing knowledge in new ways, okay, new innovative ways. Good.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yeah.
We are getting a lot of background noise from your end. Could you please lower the voice from your background, because other persons are also speaking from your end. We are
one second. Discovering new knowledge or using existing knowledge in new ways, searching for solution for particular problem, confirm past knowledge and find new ways. How is it written? Okay, research is to look new perspective at the particular topic. Okay, coming back to research. So research is something we try to evaluate new or innovate. Okay, fine. So I want to make the definition very, very clear. Many of us, we have a very wrong notion that research is just Googling. Okay, Googling in the sense getting information from Wikipedia. Okay, copying it, you copy it, you paste it, just like how we make PPTs nowadays. Yes, many of us, not just one or two, but many of us, we have a very wrong notion that research is nothing but Googling. You choose certain websites, Wikipedia or general Googling, where you copy and paste the information. Okay, but research is you do real work, you take up multiple articles, very good, as mentioned by Mr. Radhakrishnan. Okay, you go in for multiple sources, you visit libraries, okay, you check if all the information that you read is right or wrong, is genuine or not. if it's apt for your research, if it's applicable to your own beliefs and cultures, you do a lot of researching and you come up with an innovative idea. Fine? That is called research. So if you ask me, how do I do a research? So research is, the first step in research is you identify your research problem. You identify your research problem. So how do we identify? Can you just move on to the next slide, please, Ms. Janvi? So how do you identify your research problem? How do you do it? Those of you who are currently doing your PhD or you have recently finished your thesis, can you tell me as to what is your research problem? See, these sessions, it has to be necessarily interactive. It cannot be one-way traffic. Okay. Something we try to evaluate new or innovative, reading multiple articles and develop self and innovative idea. Okay. How do you identify a research problem?
Ma'am, looking for the real issues that are surrounding us so that we can make that faculty or that subject so that we can enrich that subject or that faculty.
So
Okay,
first,
fine. Okay, real-time situations.
so first we'll go through the existing research in that area, and then we'll figure out the research gap about the area which is not being focused on as of now, and that's how we create the research question.
Okay, fine, fine. So I'll just illustrate maybe for a UG student, okay, of your college or of my college. If he is like struggling to identify his research problem on a perfect working day, okay, say anytime between 7:30 to 8:30 in the morning, be it Monday, okay. How does your campus, the entrance of your campus look? This can be even such problem for engineering students. I heard that many teachers have joined from engineering colleges today for this FPP. So like I have to also highlight and throw light for those people as well. So just imagine on a normal working day, the entrance of your campus, the time between 7:30 to 8:30, how does it look? Is it very calm? Very calm, very composed, silent.
It is noisy.
No, it's crowded.
It's noisy, okay? Noisy. Okay. What else?
Too much of discussion is going on.
So much of discussion. Now I'm literally asking the entrance part, okay, where you have this entry gate and exit gate, okay, that part of your campus. Okay, so from my side, maybe I can illustrate more. I'll give you a few more lines. When it comes to my university, VIT Chennai, VIT University is always popular for its population. Okay, we are heavily crowded. We are always heavily crowded. So in the mornings, this time between 7:30 to 8:30, it is heavy rush. Okay, we have the university buses coming inside, students come in cars, two-wheelers. We have people who come in auto. Okay, people who use Rapido. So it is heavily like populated, and it is prone to traffic. Naturally, it is prone to traffic. Okay, so when it comes to my engineering students, this is the research problem that is identified, and it is a real-time situation, a real-time problem that the university is facing. Okay, you agree it or not? This is a problem. This is an issue. After 8:30, things do settle because the classes begin at sharp 8. So the faculty who do not have 8 o'clock class, they may prefer to come a little late. They have that kind of flexibility. So maybe after 8:30, the population it lessens. You don't see that much of traffic that you find during this 1 hour of time, 7:30 to 8:30. So this is the research problem that is identified. So the challenge that is thrown in front of the engineering students is, can you design a solution? Can you work on a solution? And can you implement the same? Wherein you can avoid this traffic, okay, very systematically between this 1 hour of 7:30 to 8:30. Okay, this is the challenge that is thrown to him. So as an engineering student, he has to design certain techniques, devise certain plans, and he has to implement it. So while a solution is devised and when it is implemented, you don't know the challenges that you will face while you design a plan. No, only when you practically implement it, you will come to know of its advantages and disadvantages. So once the plan is fine, maybe the plan may take maybe 1 month of time or 2 months of time to devise. Once the plan is done, while you implement it, you can implement it and try it for maybe for a week, just for 5 years, from Monday to Friday. So while you do it, you once again come up with many more challenges. And for all these minor challenges that you face, you start devising a plan. You start devising a plan. After maybe working out for so many months, maybe a period of 6 months, you are successful on creating a solution for this real-time problem. You can create lanes separately for university buses. You can create pathways separately for two-wheelers, for students, for faculty, for scavengers. It's up to you. That's your creativity, and that's what research is. That's your innovativeness. You understand? So this is how you identify your research problem. Now coming up to, so I have given a sample for this engineering part of it. So you can design it, creating different shifts. Okay, fine. Different shifts. Already like VAT, it works from 8 o'clock to night 8 o'clock. So even in the evenings till 8 o'clock, we have classes. So that's how we are actually working. Yeah, coming back to arts, people who are from English literature or any language or science, can you tell me as to how you identify your research problem, especially people from arts? Because the things we study, they always belong to an imaginary world. Okay, we all belong to a fictitious world, reading novels, stories, autobiographies. So how do you identify a research problem in a story that is written by an author, in a novel that is written by an author? How do you do it? Any
We use,
humanitarians here?
Yes,
hello,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Yes, yeah.
So we use, different frameworks for understanding, right? We can, even though we are selecting a text, which is maybe if you are looking at any Shakespearean or Dickensian texts, which are written long back, right? But we use frameworks which are contemporary, so then we can provide a new perspective to how it is read. So that is exactly how we, again, as I mentioned, we go through what kind of analysis has been done as of now, what kind of research has been done on that particular text, and then we figure out which our own ways of using different kinds of frameworks to analyze them.
Okay, very good. Any other response to this question?
Yes.
I want
I
people
would like-
from arts. Yes, please.
So when typically as a sociology or a political science student, what we can do is in English literature, we can look for problems that are plaguing the humanity in terms of social hierarchies, or in Indian context it could be casteism, or we can use those lenses and then view those English literatures. Like we can look for imperialism or colonialism, or what is the author's take on that. such kind of imaginations we look for when we are reading English literature in terms of humanities or arts typically.
Okay, fine. Ma'am, we analyze the contradiction between two perspectives, between two or more perspectives regarding a text or between different authors. Okay, it is like more of comparative literature, Miss Pooja.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine. Hmm. Anything that anyone wants to say regarding making a research or yeah, identifying a research problem in arts? Nothing? Okay, fine. I have got something to say. Gone are the days when arts people took up, say, now when we ask, what are you doing for your PhD? Immediately the candidate says, ma'am, I have chosen 7 novels, 10 novels, 12 novels of Anita Desai. I have taken 5 novels, 3 novels of Kiran Desai. I have taken up the novels of Manju Kapoor, and I'm making a feminist perspective study. I'm making a study on myth literature. I'm making a study of the African identity in the African novels of Chinua Achebe. I'm exploring the Canadian novels. All these type of PhD study, it is all outdated. It is all outdated. If you're going to come up and say, ma'am, I'm studying the novels of so and so, and I am exploring identity crisis in the novels, don't be surprised if people laugh at you. Don't be surprised if people laugh at you. Why I'm saying this is, now people who belong to this arts college, okay, hail from the Department of Arts, we are no more called arts people. We are no more called arts faculty. People have given us a different identity, and now in my university, I belong to the Department of Humanities. I belong to the Department of, no, in our university, we don't say department, we say school. Okay? School of Social Sciences and Languages. Is it audible now? Or are you having the voice, the disturbance again?
No, ma'am, you are audible.
I got a message now that it is not audible. Fine. Okay, I'll be a little louder. I belong to the School of Social Sciences and Languages. I belong to the Department of Humanities, which means I am more of a humanitarian. What do you mean by a humanitarian? Can anyone tell me the synonym of the word humanitarian? Humanities?
People's welfare.
Yes, sorry, Pooja.
Ma'am, relating to people's welfare.
Okay, for the people's welfare. So, whatever research I do, my research must benefit humanity. That is the expectation now from the Faculty of Arts, the so-called arts, which is outdated now. Okay, so to put it very clear, from the Department of Humanities, the one and only expectation is your research must benefit humanity. So don't ever come with research proposals wherein you are making an in-depth study. Ma'am, I read all the 7 novels of Anita Desai thrice. I have made criticisms. I have collected all the sources from multiple websites that were available. I went to the Skillet, the American college, to collect books. I purchased many secondary sources from Amazon, Flipkart. No use. No use. People say that reading a novel, any Tom, Dick, and Harry can do. It doesn't need any special talent. It's just like reading a story. Yes or no? It's just like reading a story. Literature, though it is a powerful weapon, many a times you use it as a leisure time, a pastime. So research has to be a little serious. You cannot I read the book twice. Certain lines that were uttered is by major character, the female protagonist. I underlined it. So with this line that she uttered, I come to know that she's undergoing domestic violence. So this is how research had been done all along. All along. And that type of research is outdated now. Okay, it is outdated now. That we must realize. First, that is the single point of realization must come by now. So what type of research is then expected? What type of research of yours will be recognized? That is the next question. So as I told you, do a research that benefits humanity. So being from the Department of Arts, being from the Department of Humanities, how are you going to do a research wherein the humanity is benefited? How do you think you can do it? How do you think you can do it? Yes.
So, ma'am, can I share my research?
Yes, please. Please.
So actually, I'm working on food studies in general. For the purpose of writing one research paper, I'll share that, since everyone is reading Harari these days, and AI is something that has touched almost all facets of our daily lives, or it will in maybe coming decade or 2 decades. So kitchen being no exception. AI-enabled cooking devices are now a reality. So now, when we look at food, especially in Indian context, there are very conservative notions about dietary preferences. We tend to segregate people on the basis of their dietary habits, vegetarianism, non-vegetarianism. So what I'm trying to work on is, if we program these preconceived notions about food and cuisine in AI machines, because it's a reality. Machines are making a complete meal. So we can imagine, in fact, Harari says that we cannot even fathom what conclusions would these AIs with these preconceived programming would come to, and what consequences humanities would have to face. So this is what I'm trying to research upon.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. So this is what research is. And when she finishes, it is very, very clear that she is giving some productive information to the society. She's giving some productive information in the sense, what's productive information? There's a lot of difference between information and productive information. Information that is useful, where the society or the humanity gets benefited. Okay. Now, I will present one of the research papers that I did, so that you get a better understanding of how to do a research as a humanitarian. Okay? My area of interest is gender studies, under which I always explore child sexual abuse, CSA. Okay, that's how it's abbreviated. If you take up any of the Scopus journals, you can see it, CSA, child sexual abuse. So what I do, or what I did in my paper is, of course, all this introduction part, conclusion part, all this you can You can make it up anytime. You can cook it up anytime. That's how I see it. But how your research paper, when it gets published, it's going to benefit the society. How it's going to benefit, or what information or message you're going to convey to your audience, to your readers. So that's the question. Now I took up my first year students of engineering. And of course you can use any of the methodologies. There are many methodologies. Maybe we will have a session on methodology one day. Okay. So I started up with a qualitative methodology. Qualitative methodology is the usual thing of you create a questionnaire. A questionnaire can contain a maximum of 35 to 45 questions. You can ask as many questions as you want, and you can give as many choices as you want. Okay. So it is being circulated in the form of a Google form link. They submit it. So it's all anonymously done, or you ask them to give their name, whatever it is, or their register number. It's your choice. So once they submit, you extract the response sheet. Okay, because you will be the owner. You need not worry about it. When you extract the response sheet, you will see as to how many people have responded to all the questions and how many people were abused as a child. So when it comes to questions, a few sample questions that I can tell you are: were you abused as a child? Were you abused as a child? Who abused you? Who abused you? When you were abused, were you aware that something is wrong is done to you? Did you seek for help? Did you share it with someone? Okay. So these are a few sample questions. I even touched upon the clothing that the child, be it a boy or girl, was wearing when the abuse took place. Okay. Of course, when you have to benefit the society through your research, and when you deal with the humanity-related topics, be it social, cultural, psychological, personal, certain things that you write in your research paper, they will turn out to be very sensitive. Just like the question that I told you now, they will turn out to be a little more sensitive, which in our own culture, as per ethics, or at our home, we are afraid to talk. We are afraid to talk. We always say the girl child to dress properly. When my girl child, she wants to go to the park and play in the evenings, wear a pant and wear a proper top and go. That's how we are instructed. Okay, that's how I was instructed when I was a child. But we don't give such instructions to a boy. He wears a sleeveless shirt, a short trouser, and goes. We all believe, or we strongly trust, that boy children will not be abused, which is totally wrong. Because when I made the study, I was literally shocked to see almost 12 boys who were abused as a child. And out of this 12, 5 boys were abused by their own tuition teachers, tuition male teachers. So we are always constrained by certain codes, cultures, and ethics. And we ourselves convinced that certain things won't happen to boys. Only girls will be the victim. And that's why there is a stress on the dress code. You dress properly and go. Fold your legs and sit. Fold your legs and sit. Why are we not very much concerned about the way the boys sit, about the way the boys dress up? Almost like 80% of you here taking a part in this FDP, you would be also parents, right? Taking up the role of parents. Many fathers and mothers are here, yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yeah, ma'am. Yeah. Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
Yeah, please. Many thumbs up is also coming up. Fine. So, with this extract, with so much of shock, I started working on this data that I have received. Now, what I made is, apart from making this quantitative analysis, I also wanted to make a qualitative study, kind of a mixed method approach. I was a little curious because almost I gave the questionnaire to, it was circulated to almost 500 students, out of which 21% were abused. So you can see the count. So even before this questionnaire was distributed, I made it very clear in the class that this research is done only for research purpose. Okay, this questionnaire is being supplied only for research purpose, and that anonymity and confidentiality will be maintained till the end. Okay, because that's what the students expect from us. I cannot be going out to the other class and saying so and so was abused as a child. Okay. So when I went through this extract sheet, I just got the register number of the students who were abused as a child. And I asked if I can have a private chat, a personal chat, when they are free. Out of this 21%, only 8% agreed for this qualitative analysis. I'm making it very, very clear, when the participants, respondents are not ready to talk with you or not ready for any research, please don't force them. Please don't force them. Just leave it. There will be definitely respondents, participants who are ready to open up. Because when they open up, they are not only benefiting your research, it is a purgation. It is a purgation. You're giving them an emotional outlet. They are pouring out everything to you. Okay? With the trust that it will be maintained confidentially. You understand? So out of this 21%, 8% they were ready. So this qualitative analysis, you must have come across this word somewhere. It's also called phenomenology. It's also called phenomenology, a phenomenological study, case study, community case studies. We have different names. So phenomenology is, what I did here is, there's 8 people, they took up different time slots because students are literally busy with classes and all other clubs here. So they are free as per their time. When each one came up to me, the first thing that I told them is, I'll talk with them just for 5 minutes. Okay? And it'll be about the abuse that they underwent. And this 5 minutes of talk will be audio taped. So I asked if it is okay, if it's okay for you. Mind. I don't really mind you recording these things. And you can ask me any questions. So whatever I feel like answering, I answer. So this is called a phenomenological approach. This 8% of students, it took almost 12 days of my time. Okay, they were not regular actually. They chose different time slots and they came up. And I started recording. So a few voice notes were it literally like shook me. Okay, so that's when I realized that I am more of a humanitarian. I no longer belong to the Department of Arts, but I belong to the Department of Humanities. And all these the outlets, okay, whatever they poured, it was all summed up in the research paper under some other name. I gave different names for all the different students who came up. So there were many things, like for one person.
Ma'am, sorry to interrupt you. Your slides have not been changed.
That's okay, ma'am. I'm not sticking onto the slides. Okay. So, like one of the respondents, he told he was abused by his own neighbor. Okay, both the parents are working. So they had that habit of trusting him and leaving this boy there, and he was abused. Now, this is what I'm saying is an ordinary research. Okay, many have done research on CSA. It is not just me. Okay, what I'm saying. Oh, so what is very innovative? What is very new in this research? You can even delve on this and bring out many new areas. For example, many a times, say for example, if I am abused as a child, I get a feeling that I am doing something wrong. Do you agree?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Psychologically, we get so very inclined that as a child, or even if now, okay, it need not be necessarily CSA. Abuse happens at any age. Okay, domestic violence, verbal violence, many are happening now. So when, especially the sexual abuse, when it happens to a child, the child strongly thinks and believes that he or she is doing something wrong. So the first message that I want to convey to the society is they are doing nothing wrong. That's the first message that I wanted to convey. It's not their fault. It is not their mistake. Okay? Number 2, can we make an analysis of the people who are doing this abuse? Is it possible?
No,
Now,
ma'am.
why always supplying a questionnaire to people who underwent the abuse, always conducting an interview to those people, and they keep saying all sad stories. Ma'am, I was abused by my neighbor. My own father abused me. I didn't know the difference between good touch and bad touch. Both my parents are working. I stay in my house for a long time. Yes, Garima? You wanted to say something?
Ma'am, actually, people who do the abuse will not come out with the stories what they underwent, right?
Sorry? Can you come again, ma'am? Sorry.
Yeah. People who are doing the abuse will not come out with their stories, right? As what people underwent the abuse by themselves. I mean, people who are abused, at least some are ready to come out with the stories what they have gone through.
That's what I told you, ma'am. Out of 500 students, to be very frank, I just got 4 students out of 500
Yeah,
who came
yeah,
out.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But
That's also true. Yeah,
yeah,
because
true.
many like they don't want to talk it out again and relive those memories. So that's also one
Yeah,
reason.
sure. But the
I agree.
perpetrators will not be ready for such stories or to exploit themselves, right?
That's what I'm asking. Okay, you feel it's impossible. You feel
Uh,
it's not possible.
Yeah, to some extent. Unless and otherwise, they
They
feel
are
that
ready for a
what they
change.
did
Yes.
exactly.
So
True,
as
true,
Miss
exactly.
as Miss Aparna says, the first thing is the perpetrator must be ready to accept that he did it. Second thing is he must be ready to change for the better.
Yeah,
So
true.
in case you can definitely make a research. Okay, and that's what I did. And it came out very successfully. Okay. And of course there was many stories of remorse, guilt. Okay. So that's the real challenge, and that's how research takes place. Fine. So for today's session, I have thrown light on what is research, how you identify your research problem. Okay. How do you identify a research problem in an engineering field, and how do you proceed with it? You implement it, you devise plans, you implement it practically and see for the pros and cons. You work on the plan, you rework on the plan again, okay, and you implement it again, and you see if it's successful. And I also told you as to the challenges that are currently put before the people of arts, okay, the faculty of arts. So they feel that what they have been doing all along is research, but that is not research. Research is something very different. So you have to have some case study, field work, or an interview, or a qualitative or quantitative, or whatever mixed method approach, whatever you can adopt, but your search must benefit the society. Now, for tomorrow's FTP session, I'll be throwing light on how you begin writing an abstract. Many of us, most of us, we suffer. We do not know how to write a very catchy abstract. Yes. So in tomorrow's FTP, I'll tell you as to how you have to write an abstract. And for tomorrow's FTP, if you have any abstracts in your hand that you recently wrote for a conference, please do bring it. Kind of a sample abstract. And let me tell you one thing, for any conference, be it national, international, seminar, or a workshop, or be it a journal for Scopus, the abstract that you write is going to decide if your paper is going to get selected or not. So abstract is not like you copy and paste it for this from ChatGPT or Google, or you just like cook up something and you post it. You have to pay a lot of attention while writing an abstract. Fine? Yes. So please do. My humble request is please do bring samples that you have recently, sample abstracts that you have recently written for any, even if it's a Scopus paper, fine. Okay, paper, or any of the international conferences that you have attended. You have any doubts regarding today's session, day 1 session?
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, due to technical issues, I could not join timely, and I have just joined 5 minutes before. So can we get recording of today's session?
I think you have to contact Ms. Janvi for that, ma'am. I'm not sure about that.
Okay.
Yes, recordings will be provided for the short time. Recordings will be provided. It is mentioned in the flyer.
Yeah, it was written in the flyer
Right,
that very short time recording will be given, but I have just joined 5 minutes before, so
Okay.
I could not listen anything.
Okay. So recordings are being provided, madam.
Okay, ma'am. Thank
Okay.
you. Ma'am, one more question is there.
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, for qualitative research, what should be the ideal sample size to be published in a reputed journal?
For a PhD, 500 is okay.
Sorry?
For a PhD, 500 is okay, ma'am. If you're writing any paper for Scopus, you can keep it just half of it, 250. That will be
For
the ideal
scope,
sample size. Yes.
how? Sorry, ma'am, I could not
If it's
listen. How
audible,
much?
for a PhD, like if you're going to do a doctoral research, your sample size can be anywhere between 500 to 1000. Okay. For a quantitative study, I'm saying.
No, ma'am, I am asking about qualitative.
Qualitative, you can keep at least 40 to 50, ma'am. 40 to 50.
Okay.
Mm.
If it is an
And
in-depth qualitative analysis, then also.
sorry?
If it is in-depth qualitative analysis, then also.
In depth in the sense, that's what I'm saying, ma'am. If it is a doctoral degree, 45 to 50 will be okay. It will be adequate. Okay, you will have data to write also, because only with what they say, you're going to observe and make your presentation, your discussion, analysis, all will be based on that. If it is going to be a paper for a Scopus, then you can just keep it to 10 to 20, just like how I told now for CSA.
Ma'am, 40 to 50, you're talking about the interviews as far as qualitative is concerned.
Yes, phenomenological. Yes, ma'am. That's qualitative. She's asking about interviews. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, okay. Okay,
If it is a
fine.
celebrity, obviously you will have just one. Okay. I'm talking about common
Okay.
people. Common people. Okay. Because we are all talking
No, but
about
if it is a celebrity,
celebrity, it will be just one. One or two, maybe when your research demands meeting VIPs like NGOs or central
Okay.
government employees, yes, or IAS, IPS officers, then naturally you will have 4 or 5 interviews in your hand. And that's always good.
Okay, 4 or 5. Okay, okay, fine. If
Ma'am,
it is a film
I
fraternity even, if it is a
Sorry, ma'am?
film fraternity, if it is a film fraternity as well.
Yes, directors. Yeah, same.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Ma'am, I have a doubt. For
Yes, sir.
interview, is it required to use software to analyze the content of the interview, the focus group interviews?
Sorry, sir, I'm not getting you.
Is it required to use softwares for
No need,
analyzing
sir.
interviews?
No need, not at all.
Okay.
Hello.
Yes,
हाँ
sir.
सर. Hello.
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Ma'am, recording will be sent to everyone or only who is demanding?
Janvi, ma'am.
Yes, recording will be shared to everyone. It will
Okay,
be
ma'am.
shared to everyone.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, thank you, ma'am.
It will be shared through mail.
Okay, ma'am.
Not through mail. We will upload the recording on YouTube and you can watch the video.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Ma'am, the same link tomorrow as well,
Yes.
or you'll be giving a different link? It is the same.
No, link is same for all days.
Yeah, fine. Thank you.
Okay.
Ma'am, you were supposed to teach us foundations of academic research writing. But then, like I did not understand. Like I wanted to, like I thought it's more like theoretical and has more perspectives on how to actually write research content or academic research writing. So yeah, like so would you elaborate on that or like yeah?
Ma'am, I didn't get your question.
Ma'am, ma'am, what about the attendance link? Will you provide the attendance link also?
Will you provide?
Attendance link for today's session.
No, there is no attendance link, sir.
Okay.
I was saying that like I wanted to know more about the foundations of academic research writing as to what all entails academic research writing, and like I wanted to know this.
Ma'am, it doesn't end today, ma'am. It's a 5-day FDP. It will be covered. Don't worry.
Okay, but then tomorrow you have like formulation of research problem and literature review, right?
I'll cover your doubts, ma'am. Don't worry.